Alright guys, Simply Strength. Thought I'd do a quick reaction video to a news piece that came out at the start of the month about a Dutch guy who waited for 10 days in a Chinese airport for quote-unquote girlfriend. And I've put the link into the low bar. I just thought it was quite amusing to see this, and it's a stark reminder of just, the lengths people will go to due to the thirst and just beaterism and just being a simp. I thought it would be useful to just highlight and again, learn from the mistakes of others, which is a real tenet that I live my life by, and I would advise all of you to do the same as well. I'm just going to go down the article and just pick different bits out, and you're welcome to follow it through. But it goes on to say, you might expect love to hurt, but for one lovesick Dutch man in China, it resulted in a hospital trip for exhaustion. So this fella, this Alexander guy, 41, he's not the best looking guy by any stretch, but and that's being fair, that's not being cruel. I mean, you just got to take a look at his pictures. He flew from Holland to Hunan province in the hope of meeting his online girlfriend, a Chinese woman known only as Zhang, and he ended up spending 10 days waiting at Changsha airport after she failed to show up. So you have to factor in the cost. I mean, I could do the calculations, but how much money is it to fly from Holland to China, basically on an empty promise? I mean, how thirsty do you have to be to do that? That boggles my mind. He gets there and basically got stood up, and his escapade, his failed attempt at making this happen has won him very little sympathy, especially from me. He's won little sympathy in China. Miss Zhang later told local media that she thought it was a joke. I mean, I would think it was a joke personally as well. If it was me, if I was the woman, I would just think it was a complete and utter joke. So he told Chinese media that he met Miss Zhang, 26, in an app 2 months ago and romance blossomed. I'm going to do another video on the Tinder phenomenon because I've basically been experimenting with it again just for a laugh. And that's a danger in its own sense. It presents a great many problems for men in particular, but also women as well. So this guy, he decided to fly to visit her. Obviously that incurs its own costs, but when he got to Hunan, he found that no one had come to meet him. So he paid all that money to get stood up. He refused to leave the airport for the next 10 days and was eventually taken to hospital, suffering physical exhaustion. I mean, who waits for 10 days? Who waits for 10 hours? I mean, I get annoyed if I'm waiting for someone for 10 minutes, maximum 20 minutes. And, it's something I try and do. I try to be punctual in my life and get to meetings on time and not let people down. 10 minutes, you can probably forgive that. But, I mean, who waits 10 hours, let alone 10 days? So he actually put his health at risk, basically because of the thirst. And there's a picture of him here, just he's got an IV on and just looks like death, pretty much. So Miss Zhang contacted a TV channel the day after the report aired to give her side, saying that she thought it had all been a joke. Quote, "We had advanced our romantic relationship, but later he seemed a little callous towards me." I mean, callous? How? We haven't got the text to scrutinise it, but how do you... I mean, if he's willing to fly out there, how could he be callous? He's willing to just put all that. One day he sent me a photo of air tickets abruptly, and I thought it was a joke. He didn't contact me later. Well, you would know if it was a joke because you'd have the serial numbers or ID numbers on the airplane tickets. Ms. Zhang also added that by the time Mr. Cirque arrived at the airport, she was away having plastic surgery in another province and had turned off her phone. Who turns off their phone? I mean, even when I'm in meetings or have other commitments, it's on silent. No one ever turns their phone off. I don't know anyone that turns their phone off, unless, of course, you're on a plane. But that's unbelievable. And she was away having plastic surgery as well. So that's, again, if she knew that he was coming out, flying all that way, and knowingly did something else at the same time, it just tells you what kind of person they're. So you can see some of the posts as well on Chinese social media, and the vast majority it says, "We're keen to point out the apparent absurdity of the man's actions." So, foreign man went to Changsha to meet his online girlfriend. How could... They're calling it online girlfriend, but it's evident that nothing's really happened. And he's just behaved like a child, pretty much. He must be stupid. Why would anyone do this? Doesn't he know that everything in China is fake? Perhaps she did go to the airport, saw what he looked like, and promptly turned back around. So again, you know, they're taking they're dissecting the guy's looks and personality and or weaknesses. It's obviously a flaw in his personality or his character that he's done this, and it's, you know, whether that's his fault or not remains to be found out. Others have had some sympathy, so they've said that this guy is taking a relationship seriously. Don't play around with his feelings. If you don't want him anymore, just tell him so he can go home. What does this say about Chinese integrity? If you guys just look at the pictures, you'll see that, you know, if you were on Tinder, it looks like it's Tinder. You know, it's one of those profiles where you would just click no, because you can tell there's something odd about it. It's fake. Her picture looks like one of those where it looks fake. It looks like a fake profile. And, you know, I can't believe that this guy has basically done this to himself. You know, he's willing to sacrifice his own health and resources and finance to basically put himself in a detrimental position. I'd love to hear what you guys think of this. I mean, it was pretty surprising to me when the story popped up, and I thought it would be interesting to those of you in the, you know, the red pill persuasion and the MGTOW philosophy. So check it out and let me know what you think.